I don't know, like, she's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex in the City, JD.
That's when I was smoking my cigars.
Don't be an asshole today.
Hey. Hi. I'm Denise. That's JD.
Hey.
You're Katrina.
Hi, I'm Katrina.
You are from LGBT Llama Books.
Nice to meet you both.
I'm so sorry. I know you said you usually use Teams and we just sprung Zoom on you.
That's okay.
That's all right.
You're in difficulties anyway, isn't he?
Where are you at? You were here in the UK?
I am in the UK. I'm in Liverpool.
In Liverpool.
Oh.
Okay. I'm like South London, like way south.
Okay, cool.
Never been there yet. So what? First of all, how you doing? You all right?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good.
So I think it was me. I think I trolled you pretty hard on Instagram because I was so impressed with what you do. You make LGBTQIA plus activity coloring books for everyone, like not just for kids, but grown-ups and everyone, and you sell them on Amazon. And I just think that is so necessary in this day.
Yeah.
Like really, really great thinking. And they're so cute. So tell us a little bit about what prompted you to do it, how you do it, and how you've made a little business out of it.
Okay, so back in the 90s when I was younger, there was nothing about even like a lesbian kiss on Brookside became front page news. The only representation of being trans that I could see was on things like Jerry Springer, which is really bad representation. So being a young person who is like questioning their sexuality, their gender identity, and having no representation, Section 28 being in full force, I felt really alone and felt like almost like there was something wrong with me. I didn't understand what was going on and couldn't see myself anywhere. So when I through my career, I've become a youth worker. So I've done that for 18 years of being youth working. My core role is I do detached youth work. So I walk around parks and open spaces and engage with young people out and about. But I started an LGBT group nearly 10 years ago now, 9 years ago, and for 13 to 19-year-olds. And that went really well, and it ended up growing and progressing. And we started a group for 8 to 12-year-olds and parents.
Oh.
So that, I don't know if that's going to continue or not, but that's what's running at the moment through my main role. And through that, I noticed there was a knowledge gap between parents and the children. Parents are really enjoying the group, and I've got like a group now with quite a few parents on it, and the parents support each other through that group, which is really good because that peer support is just
it's crucial.
Amazing.
Yeah,
it's crucial.
Wow.
Thank you for the word.
Yeah.
So through that, I've realised that I want to try and create something that parents and children can work on together. So it gives the parents the language to speak to the child, and obviously the child the language to speak to the parent, and a platform to work together around identity really in general, and diversity and belonging and all the things like that. So first off, I've started these colouring books, and it's a bit of it's more about representation, the colouring books, and being relatable to the young people. It's got a bit of an educational slant, but I'm moving more into, I've got some books ready to almost go, but I just some tweaking to do. And they're more the platform that's going to move forward and help young people and parents, hopefully in the home environment.
It's fantastic.
That's awesome, because that could be a conversation starter, like breaking the ice with kids who have maybe they're meeting with some resistance from their parents. That could be such a great catalyst for
Yeah.
them.
I think
Yeah.
the more we see it on television, now, it's the time when conversations do need to be had. And I do think
Mhm.
that some parents really do lack the language because
Mhm.
it's not something they're familiar with. It's not something that maybe they dealt with, back then, when they were growing up. And, where do you find that help? Where do you find the necessary tools, like this is something that could be used even in businesses when they have
Yeah.
diversity training and exclusivity training. I think that people do need a conversation starter, but they also need the tools to have that conversation. So I think
Totally.
it's a great niche that you've tapped into, and it's very, very necessary in these times because
Totally.
where you
Yeah.
look, everywhere you look, movies, television, you know, um, especially streaming services that don't have guidelines, and don't have to
Yeah.
stick to the specifics of networks and even cable, so it's really, really important because I just think that you know, um, it's getting ahead of families. It's that, and it's not a bad thing, that it's out there and that it's happening, but it
Mhm.
is getting ahead of families that might need to have these talks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's great. And do you do the artwork?
I do at the moment. I've been using Canva and been using other things to help myself out. But that's the thing with me, the other books I want to release. I want to get more illustrators in and things like that to do the artwork. Because I'm learning from scratch. So it's a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
In terms of I think my skill is I'm a youth worker and I know how to communicate with young people. And a lot of the sessions and the things that I put into books are things that I tried and tested, things that I've delivered. And you're right, I've spoken to showed a book to a social worker and they were like, we kind of did, we need this I've delivered as part of my role in the council. I've delivered training and workshops in schools and assemblies, and I
Yeah.
think that it's about that wraparound support for the child, because they can come to a group once a week, and the group's like, I think it's like magic for the young people, the way they come out the shells. But if they
Yeah.
haven't got that support at home, even if the parent really wants
Right.
to support them, but they haven't, I've spoke to parents who feel completely lost and they
Yeah.
desperately want to support the child, but they're so unsure if they're doing the right or wrong thing.
Right.
And it is about listening to the child, isn't it? But having that platform where you can have them conversations, and it doesn't have to be,
Yeah.
because I'm looking at with these ones like the maybe 8 to 12 age range as well, because that's the time when they will sit down with parents and work on books together.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to have all the jargon in it, so to speak, all a different language and all, but it does have to have an element of I was going to say, like a space for them to be able to express themselves in different ways. It doesn't always have to use all the language for 8-year-olds.
Right. Yeah.
It can
Right.
be
Like,
different ways.
yeah. Like you don't want it to come across like clinical, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
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 Right.
It
And
needs to be like,
overwhelming as well sometimes, because
yeah,
sometimes it's about the young people have to have that self-discovery in that space, and it's a journey for them.
it
So
is.
I think it's about just creating that safe space for the
Yeah.
parents and child to
Hmm.
have the
Right.
conversation.
Yeah. It's true. It's, uh, you think about it like, like kids nowadays, yeah, you have your parents, who you assume that they're going to go to probably after they've talked to friends, but but like that circle of support needs to be bigger than just your family, like your immediate
Hmm.
family.
Yeah.
It has to kind of the ripple effect,
Hmm.
uncles,
Yes.
cousins,
Yeah, for
grandparents, all that
sure.
stuff. And they're the ones too that need to be included. And I think that's the thing that struck me the most about your book was that it seems like it's a way for everyone, to kind of be involved. Like I think, like Jay, I'm sure about I Am Jazz.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So we've
Loved
had
the
this
show.
show, I mean, this show is like going on 12 years now, right?
Yeah,
We've had
yeah.
that show
yeah.
in the States for 12 years about this, transgender girl who happens to be it was filmed
I
in
was
my
gonna say,
neighborhood.
I
Like,
think they live in Coral Springs or
yeah,
Parkland.
yeah. So they live
Yeah.
like kind of around the corner from my mom. But
Yeah.
they had like the cameras following them around, and that journey
hmm
has gone from this very early on. I think Jez was like 12 or 13, 14 when she started the show, because now she's at Harvard, and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
12
She
years
was
later.
maybe younger.
Yeah, but it was a real awakening. It was on TLC, so it was on like a network
Yeah.
television station, and it was just, I think, it piqued everybody's curiosity, like in a way that was like, wow, this kid realized that she was trans when she was just a little, like,
Yeah,
not
like
a toddler,
3.
but like the ages you're talking about, 6, 7,
Yeah.
8. And
Even younger. Even
yeah,
younger, Denise. Yeah.
yeah. And the parents were so supportive, like,
hmm
brought the therapies and speaking events and things like that to make her feel so supported, and to see her thriving in such a way, and making her journey so public. There's
Yeah.
many of that kind of, there's not much out there that compares to someone sharing their entire journey, their transition, their operation, their whole transition, their school life, their personal life, their dating life. You just don't get to see that. And that's just like strictly like for the trans community, but there's so many different parts of our entire community now. There's non-binary, there's queers, there's lesbians, there's gays, there's poly couples, it's incredible.
hmm
And every single person like needs that support. They're not getting it from their government, and I'm telling you, these are these young ones that are going to have the loudest voices in the future, that are going to make the change
Sure.
that's necessary. So these are the tools. You're giving them the tools to be that change, that countries and governments need. It's very, very special. No other way to put it. Special.
I like that you have the different ages too. Like you have the
Yeah.
adult one, and then you have the one for the younger kids. Like, where did you get the idea for this concept initially to put this out there? Was this is it something that you struggled with telling your parents?
Yeah, well, I didn't come out till I was 28, but I knew when I was definitely looking back. Yeah, I knew when I was around 9, but I definitely knew when I was 12, because I actually tried to come out and quickly went back in the closet. So, and I wish I would have been able to come out sooner. I think my mum would have been fine, but it's just having that. Like I say, there was no representation. There was nothing out there for me to hold on to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose for me, when I'm working with these young people, and I had a young person say to me a good while back, like, when I said, what do you want from this intervention? They said, I just want to accept myself. And I found that really, it's so sad, isn't it? And that's where it all begins. It all begins with that child accepting themselves before they can even speak out. And the fact that we're still using the terms accept ourselves, when we saw before, you were saying about all them different labels and stuff, and they're great because it gives people a place where they feel they fit and belong. But I don't, in society now, we shouldn't need to come out. We shouldn't need all the, we should just be, shouldn't we? And I think creating creating a space where it's not about necessarily the label all the time. It's about them just being themselves, isn't it? If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Being comfortable in their skin. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It feels like that's probably the hardest part, because like you said, there's not much out there that, that pulls them in, that makes them feel like it's okay. And to feel different is just, there's always something like a little bit negative about feeling different. Like,
Right. Right.
takes a long time to be okay with the fact that you are different, you know.
Mhm.
Find others, that are, like I always say, like you find your weirdos and that's your tribe, and that's fantastic. It's
Totally.
not even
Mhm.
like a bad
Right.
thing. It's just you understand that there's, people out there that are different from you, even though
Mhm.
they're different too. And you're like, boom, that's our connection. And
Right. Right.
it's rare. It's rare to find that in this day and age. Like when I think about like what my high school years were like, it was about fitting in. It wasn't about standing out ever,
Right.
like you got the jeans that everybody else was wearing, you got the trainers that everybody else had, you took the classes that everybody else was taking, and it was yeah, it was all about fitting in. And if you feel the least bit different, it throws everything off, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you're stuck with your own feelings about it, and there's no one to talk to. And so this is just a fantastic thing, and the fact that and they're available on Amazon, right? Correct
They
me.
are available on Amazon. There's 5 books available on Amazon, and there are 3 of them that are available on Etsy as well on digital
Oh, that's
downloads.
fantastic. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, look at that. It's like right at your fingertips. You can just order it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like that's in this day and age, like isn't that how everybody does everything? Like just from their phone.
yes,
It's
yes,
it's a simple, easy tool, but it's like I said before, it's necessary. And I think parents are trying their hardest to be progressive, nowadays, but you got other ones, like I don't know, like this is just my experience. Like I worked in a pub for a couple of years, and there's just some parents that just like drag their kid to a pub, give them a bag of crisps and a an appetizer or whatever
Right.
things that, and they just sit them there with a phone, and they're just sitting on the
Mhm.
phone doing
Right. Oh yeah.
Minecraft and Fortnite and shit like that.
Right.
And it's just, you just wonder what their relationship, like, is that a comfortable relationship?
yes.
Yeah.
Like,
That's so true.
yeah,
It's just they're in their own little worlds and no one speaks to each other at the table.
yeah, it's like,
Why?
yeah. I think just being a youth worker alone has got to be amazing. I can't fathom what you see,
Yeah.
and what's out there. I'm not a parent. I, I don't know. And I think I look back at my own childhood and think about like how lucky, I was. Like I had a close knit family. Everybody lived on the same street. Doors were left wide open. Your cousins, were best friends, all that, blah blah blah. And it's just not like that today. And I just think like,
No.
what parents go through today is just like brutal. It's so difficult, and they're especially in this economy, working extra hours, extra shifts, trying to be able to support your family, not having the time for these conversations, can always make it even more of a struggle for a child. It's ridiculous. So to have that conversation starter is just it's a great thing that you're doing. It's fantastic.
Definitely. And I think locally I'm gonna because I said before, I'm a detached youth worker, so a lot of what I'd like to do in terms of the LGBT offer, I can't do as part of my core role. So I'm hoping, well, I'm working on at the moment, getting into local organisations and stuff like that to do them kind of workshops. I want to try and grow the parent group and get other parents on board. And even I was speaking to them about maybe creating leaflets and things like that, so parents or another parent, how creating artwork we can put in galleries around how to support your trans child, and stuff like that. So I'm thinking of other things that's more locally. But I'm thinking of other ways of supporting the community, and it needs to come from different angles, doesn't it? And I think creating them peer support groups is really important as well. Because like I said, it's like magic, the LGBT group that I do through work for the young people. We have young people who come who don't speak anywhere else, and they come to group and they talk, and we have with the junior group some of their coming out stories and speaking about how now they feel like that themselves, and they feel like you know, it's just a beautiful experience to be in that place.
Yeah.
And that's what I want
Yes.
to try and create, try and spread it out further than just, yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing is like, but things like this, like they start locally, you know, and they
Right.
off from there. And that's the best part, is to be like the heart of your community, doing something that special, you know, because it is a word of mouth thing, you know, like when
Right.
stuff
Right.
like this goes well, you know, there's other chapters in other communities, you know, the word will get to them, and it will grow. Like I think about what Jay, what our friend Donna does, and she works for a grant-based organization that links 250 LGBTQ centers, community centers
Mhm.
across the globe. And
Yeah.
you know, like that's incredible. Like I think about that, and it's something that's like it's needed over here too,
Yeah.
you know, for groups like your own to find another group that might be in Manchester, another one that might be in Croydon, another one that might be in Wales, you know, where like even if it's an online thing where people can share, you know, their as a group, you know, your experiences. And if it's just the youth leaders, or you know, the youth workers getting together to see how to grow this, you know, by one idea, by just making these books,
Right.
you know,
That's a
you've
yeah.
already got like a foot in the door to grow that. And it's you know, it's people like yourself that's going to make a difference in children's lives right now, that are, you know, that got stuff coming at them from every angle, you know, and their sexuality is just part of that, but it's big.
Yeah, no,
Have,
it's huge.
Yeah.
have you tried to see if they would put that in the schools? Because I know with that girl Jazz, she has a book that she wrote when she was younger. As a child, she wrote the book, and they're banning it from certain schools, and it was banned from all the schools. But of course, we're in Florida, so we have our laws are kind of
Your
antiquated
governor
right
is an
now.
absolute
But I
dick.
think that
Yeah.
that's one of the things I think that happened. But they were just talking about that on the show. But do you think if that's a possibility for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at schools in the future, and I wouldn't mind doing the books for them. I'm going to maybe do some bespoke sessions. I can maybe in the future,
Mhm.
like license the material so they've got it online and things like
Yeah.
that. But that's
Oh yeah.
moving into the future. But I'm definitely, I think, like I said before, it is about them three different elements. Really, it is about like the social space for the young person. It's about the education space and the home space, isn't it? And it's about combining them different things to make sure there's that consistent offer for the young persons, that
Yeah.
consistency of understanding. Really, that's what it comes down to, because
Yeah.
when I speak to other professionals and I'm talking to them, and I'm just like, it's just listen to the young person. I think people can get really scared of saying the wrong things and then say nothing. But I say by saying
And
nothing, you're not
True.
acknowledging that young person, who that young person is. That's even worse.
yeah.
Ask the questions. They'll
Yeah.
actually like that, because they'll feel seen. They are seen.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you know, a lot of it, and not to use this as an example because there's probably a weird connotation there, but like if an alcoholic is going to AA, it's pretty good chances that their family is going to Al-Anon because they need support. And
Mhm.
parents, I think, don't have, you know, a group of their own to go and say, you know, my kid came to me and said that they're non-binary and I don't know what that means.
Right.
Or,
Right.
you know, my kid, you know, my kid said that, you know, he has feelings for another boy and I don't know what to do with that. Like they don't have, you know, the wherewithal, you know, the bandwidth
Right.
to know how to be supportive. I mean, all you can do is love that kid and tell them whatever you're going through and whatever you need, you know, I'm here for you.
Mhm.
I'm not going to judge you, and I'm not, you know, I'm not going to be upset with you. And, you know, for a parent to say that, whether they believe it or not, you know, it's got to be said. It's got to be said to that child. And I think
Yeah.
parents struggle with that. And I think that, you know, they need that help too. So, you know, the fact that this is kind of like all inclusive, family work. Like I said, imagine this in the workplace. It would be
Yeah.
fantastic,
Right. Yeah.
like some dad that's clocking out at lunchtime sees a pamphlet and goes, oh yeah, I wonder if my kid's going through anything. I should have a conversation,
Yeah.
like it would be incredible. I think you're on to something that could lead to really big and great things, and we
Completely.
need more people like you.
Oh, no, thank you.
Really.
No, I hope it
Absolutely.
does. I hope something comes of it, because, like I said, I think you're completely right. It's really important for the child to have, that support at home and everywhere else.
Yeah, it really is. I can't, like I said, I can't imagine, what it would be like, how scary it is too for parents,
Yeah, it's
Right.
worry about I just saw that vigil for that Brianna,
Yeah.
like, geez, that was heartbreaking. A trans girl got murdered
Yeah.
up north. It's just, you read about it and you see it, and you think about that, like if your kid comes to you and and expresses them, like, I'm having these feelings, blah blah blah. I think one of the first things that's come to a parent's mind is like fear. They're all of a sudden going to be so fearful for that child, and fear in a different way. I'm sure as a parent you're always worried about your kid, always.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Eating dirt, and getting murdered are two different things. So I think that all of a sudden having a different level of fear has got, there's got to be a way for them to talk their feelings through on something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think parents definitely have that fear. I think that's a huge one for them, and I think having the space to speak to other parents who've had similar experiences is so important for them to feel reassured and put strategies in place and make that child, because I think sometimes young people can go out, about parents say they're going out and they've been trans on themselves and stuff like that, but that's sometimes because they didn't feel heard by the parent. They're trying to they want, this is me, listen to me,
Right.
that's me. And
Absolutely.
the parents
Yeah.
the parents see that as them putting themselves in danger, but it's about the parents understanding how they could make a difference with that just by saying what you said before. I'm here. I accept you.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a lot of levels of support and understanding that have to be put in place. And like what you're doing it's like a starter kit,
Right.
and that's the best part, is that, like, you can, by having just that opening conversation, and asking the right questions and talking about the right things, will lead a parent to explore more and do their own research, will lead a
Yeah.
child to do their
Yeah.
own research.
It's given the space. I mean, in the book that hasn't come out yet, there's things like where the child can look at like an avatar of themselves. So it's given and also looking at your future self. What do you, who where are you going to be in the future? What house will you live in? What kind of clothes will you wear? What job will you have? And it gives the parent a real insight into where that child's at, because that child may not be dressing in the clothes that they want to dress in or presenting how they want to present,
Right.
but it
Right.
gives the child a space to explore that with the parent in a safe place.
Yeah.
And so the parent can get an understanding of the child, and then the child can feel understood, and it develops that, doesn't it? It's having conversations, really.
Yeah, and have a bond, because I think when you don't have a person, and I say this because some kids don't have that relationship with their parent, but they might have it with a person, with a youth worker, with a friend, with a friend's parent, as long as they keep talking, I guess, is the important thing. As long as they have a place where they can talk, like you said, some will talk and some won't,
Yeah.
and that's probably the hardest thing, is a kid not having a sounding board, not feeling heard, not having someone to go to to be able to share stuff with. It's not going to throw it in their face or give them I don't know what that word is, like, like be condescending about it or whatever. They really do need to feel heard. And that's
And you know what
huge.
what I like about it is that it gives a kid a chance to speak their truth so much earlier
Earlier.
than they might have, because this is a tool that they can do that they can use at such a younger age than like all of us,
Yeah.
like I know they were way
Yeah.
different times,
Yeah,
especially
no.
my
but
time,
true.
but that's a tool that a child could use so
Oh.
much later. Sorry, my battery.
Right.
So much later, so much earlier
Yeah.
than anyone else could. It's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
How else would they get that conversation started?
And the
So-
fact that you're making it fun, it's
Right,
an activity
right.
book, it's a coloring book, I mean, it's that's the cool thing, is that it's you've taken something that could feel awkward, and made it interesting and fun, and that's part of the thing that pulled me in when I saw it. I was like, I mean, what kid doesn't like to, especially at that younger age, that doesn't
Yeah.
love an activity book, man. I still look at the highlights in the doctor's office when
Totally.
yeah, like that's that was just ingenious. I think and the great part about it too is, like you were saying, that you're looking to have better illustrators. It seems like that LGBTQ people are so creative.
Totally.
We're like the creative ones. I'm not saying that we're not accountants and dentists and doctors and stuff like that, but we have like a creative side, like no one's business. So I would imagine that if you put a call out there, you will get like a great LGBT illustrator, graphic artist. I mean, there's so many. I was lucky. I took a chance where I work on this cartoon project that's like separate from this. And my director said, this is all great stuff, but I don't create the characters. We need an artist that, makes the characters. So she used this, worldwide blanket site, Fiverr. Everybody knows it,
Mhm.
and you go on there and you find somebody, and it's kind of all done like a little bit anonymously. Like there's no real background. You just see a person's work, and if you like it, you approach them. They give you a price. If you like it, they do the work. It turned out this guy, so my director's in California. I'm here in South London, and she finds this guy, and we love him. He sends us, some stuff. We look at his work. We're like, yeah, like let's do it. So we pay him, and she puts him in contact with me because he needs my pictures to do the cartoon. And we're talking, and I'm sending him pictures, and we're chatting away on Messenger. And I was like, by the way, Steve, where are you from? He's like, the UK. And I'm like, no shit, like where? And he goes, Carlsden. He's like 15 minutes from my front door. And he's gay, and he lives with his boyfriend.
I love
And
it.
Meant to be. Talk about
Yeah.
serendipity, right?
Yes, but that's what I mean. Like, and he's like, he does like superheroes and all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna put you in touch with them. Like maybe,
Yeah.
maybe
That'd be cool.
doing stuff like that, because like that's another thing, Jay. Remember when we had the girl that does the queer comic books?
Yes, I was thinking about that with this.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
totally.
Like superheroes and stuff like are all different. LGBTQ, like all different kinds of superheroes now. Like kids can look at a gay superhero and have
Right.
like, oh my God, that's my jam. Like, like this is fantastic. And it's so supportive. Like it's ripple effect. Like you have a,
Mhm.
A gay illustrator, a gay cartoonist or whatever that's making gay comic books for gay kids.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
boom, 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 like everybody supports everybody else. And it just seems like it's happening, whether people want to accept it or not. It's
No, totally.
Right.
like
Absolutely.
it really, really is. Well, listen, I don't want to keep you. I know you probably got a busy day. It's a work day tomorrow. So I'm gonna let you go, but I want to thank you so much for
Yeah.
it's been fantastic.
Pleasure
Thank you
meeting
very
you.
much.
Thank
Lovely
you.
meeting you too. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one. Take
Have a
care.
lovely week. Bye.
Bye. Wasn't she fantastic?
Yeah, she was great. What a great find.
Amazing.
Wow.
And I got to tell you, I know that you weren't on the show that I spoke to Joe Galliano from the Queer Britain Museum.
Yeah, yeah.
This chat like they had done their final push. This was like, I think last year, maybe a little longer, but they were doing their final push for raising and all that. And then they found a space, they opened the museum. It's
Yeah.
been incredible. So yesterday, my wife comes home and she says, guess what? At my work, they're as a part of LGBT History Month, they have gotten passes for everyone to go to Queer Britain, the museum, tomorrow.
Oh, how cool.
So
That is
she
so
went
cool.
tonight and she got me a little magnet. And she said it's
Nice.
amazing. Yeah, she said it's doing really well. It's fantastic. It's chock full of stuff. It's got, you know, great pieces of queer history in there and modern stuff. And so I was like, oh my God, like you got to go
That's so
before
cool.
me. And I interviewed the guy and you got to go before me. But yeah,
You're ahead of your time. You see, you're ahead of the curve all
but how
the time.
cool that it's that they will, you know, this workplace that employs so many people and they just invited them all down for LGBT History Month.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. And they could have, you know, like it like that was a really cool idea. Like that's what people need to do.
Oh yeah.
Go into straight places and flood them with queer shit.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
Just
Yes.
flood the shit out of them. Yeah, it's fantastic. So yeah, that was huge. I was super impressed with her. I didn't know if she would go because she was going out to dinner after, but nope, she did. So yeah,
Very nice.
very cute. And my I had a conversation with Kathy Caton from Brighton Gin last week, and that was really good. I can't wait to get that show up because she's fantastic. I mean, this little boutique distillery that she started because she likes gin. And she was trying to make it on her own, you know.
Wow.
Learn the process and everything and dabbled or whatnot. But here it is, 10 years later, and this little boutique distillery that they run out of a single car garage is going out locally across England, but to 16 different countries now.
That is awesome. I can't wait to watch that show. I was so bummed I couldn't be on and meet her.
Love her. Yeah.
I'll work on that tonight and get that up, that to you. So we'll put that up. Yeah, what a great story.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of courage just in general to do that kind of a project, to do that kind of a business, just the on taking.
Yeah, to make that.
You know, if you stop and think about, oh, you need probably some kind of insurance, probably some kind of something, you know, people, so they can't say they got sick drinking your product. You know what I mean? Like when you have to go through all the licensing and all the things you need to do that.
Yeah, the behind the scenes, right? The behind
all the stuff just to get it going. And then the LGBTQ part of it, it's really takes a lot of courage and perseverance for something like that.
Totally.
It's amazing.
And the fact that she employs all LGBTQ people is even
that's
more
awesome.
And they still approach it the way they did when they were tiny, you know, like, you know, they hand pick the fruit, they use organic, local, you know, fruit, you know, stuff from local farms and everything. They do wax tops still by hand, everything.
Cool.
You know, it's crazy. And then she's really embodied Brighton, you know, the area of Brighton, which is eclectic and cool and very much like Wilton Manors.
Yeah.
You know, like accepting queer, rainbow flags everywhere, you know, fun bars, fun restaurants, the beach right there. It's just, it's a really cool thing to say that you've incorporated your city, kind of, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
like
definitely.
When I met her, you know, back like 11 years ago, I think it was, she was doing radio. She was doing, Brighton, Brighton radio show. And she was one of the first people to reach out and say, yeah, come be a guest on my show. And
Yeah.
I had only been here like a little while. And it was just like, wow. I was telling her, I was like, I walked away from that thinking, wow, if everybody here is this cool and this is going to be a great experience. She goes, and I'm like, yeah, 70, 75. But it was so great to catch up with her. And of course, the next time we go to Brighton, we're just going to, meet up, text and meet up. And
Yeah. That's great.
The gallery is fantastic. They do tours, they do gifts, they got merchandise.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that story. I just love that. Cause like I said, it's just the on taking is daunting. And a lot of people would just say, forget it and walk away from it. You have to really be committed and follow your passion. And obviously that's hers and it's the success and is not overnight. Cause you said she started 10 years ago.
And that's what I think was nice about it was that it was just this organic growth. Like I watched this process, on social media for her.
Yes.
And I remember her like riding a bike to drop off deliveries to places.
Wow.
And during the pandemic, turn on a dime and start making hand sanitizer for.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, right. I remember that.
So we were doing that, and that was explosive. Like she said, like they were, like shipping out sanitizer and delivering it to NHS nurses and different hospitals and stuff like that were running low on supplies.
That was amazing. I kind of like quickly
and
looked through.
never profited from it.
Oh,
like that was
that's
I remember like we were stressed about finding it. We couldn't find it.
Yeah, here too.
I remembered and I ordered a bunch from her and all you paid was shipping. So that money that they took for the shipping, part of it went towards shipping and part of it went towards another 2 bottles. So they were always able to keep going, So yeah, it was just phenomenal. It was a great chat. I think everybody will be really, and I know she's got like 1 million people, that know her. So I would be really happy. Really happy
I did
tunes in.
a sneak preview. I kind of just like looked at, just like, went through it just kind of quickly and I saw that part of it, but I can't wait to really like watch it.
Yeah.
And edit. So.
Yeah, it's great. And I think she said her mom's part of the team too. Like she employs
that's so cool.
7 people, I think. But yeah,
like
that's what one of the things she said was like, and I employ people. Like, I can't believe I employ people. Like I own a business, I employ people. And I think if you have this nice cushy career where you're doing, I mean, who doesn't love being in radio, but to just be out for a jog and have it hit you, like, you know what? I can do that. I can do this. Yeah. And follow through. Like isn't that the part, following through?
That's the part. Yes.
Yeah, you get sick of the business part. Like I know for me, I guess it's like a double-edged sword. So like for me, like when we did the lesbian lounge, we made this commitment that we would never charge for anything, So we didn't care about the business side. We didn't aggressively pursue advertisers and trying to get money from people and stuff. Like we forked out money for our own travel to do live.
Yeah.
We forked out money every year for the website, for the broadcasting stuff, all that, coming out of our pocket because we loved what we were doing.
Right.
We didn't want to get bogged down in the slog of creating a business. We always we always wanted it to feel like a girls' night, And
I like that with my music. Sometimes to a fault. Sometimes I'm like, I should look at it more of a business. I don't do that enough. But the truth is with music and mostly anything entertainment, you're either making a lot of money or there's like nothing. It's like there's very little in between world with that. So unless you become like a wedding singer or something.
Yeah, you get, exactly. But I think, that's the hard part is especially when you're doing it on your own. Like we always,
oh God, yeah.
Do the writing of a song, the production of the song, the performing of a song, the recording of a song, the promotion of a song that, it's like, oh my God.
You booking yourself. And I mean, I wear all the hats and it's a lot. It's a lot. So,
I get it. Like, I totally get it. And I feel like, you know, the success that we had was in the mission. You
Mhm.
know, the mission was to promote, you know, lesbian projects, lesbian driven projects, you know, and products and businesses and bars and people. And that was the mission. And I think that's where our success came from, because it
Oh,
certainly
yeah.
wasn't financial.
That was definitely, though, you guys were like icons. You were like, you're the OGs of all of this, and mission accomplished, because look, all these years later, now you're a cartoon. That's like
Yeah.
so cool. That's the coolest.
Yeah, you gotta
But
just milk it to death.
the whole thing is not giving up. Even like with our Rainbow remix, we have what, 112, 113 shows. This will be 113. That's amazing. It's like we're doing it. We're not giving up, because
Yeah, because
eventually
it's
now we're being played in South Africa, and it's awesome.
yeah, that still blows my mind. Like, I mean, I know that people will find us, you know, like on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Spotify, on Apple, on, you know, Podbean, on whatever platform they use for podcasts. I know that we're findable that way. But to think that it's being broadcast in South
Right?
Africa on one of their only gay radio stations,
I love it. I
mind
love that.
blowing. Like,
It
that is
is.
mind blowing. And sometimes I'll look at our statistics, and I know our biggest, you know, downloads and streams and whatnot come from United States, but also a lot in Canada. You know,
Oh,
like,
okay.
huh, I don't know they're finding us there. Like, it's a
And
hashtag
you know what's
search,
funny?
or ever.
Just in case we thought they weren't listening in South Africa, he caught that glitch where we had the problem where we only had like 30 seconds of audio. That he
Yeah,
caught it. So they're
yeah,
listening.
yeah.
They are
They're
listening.
they're listening, and they're putting it out there. It's just, yeah, it's crazy to me, because of course England has the least, because I do no promotion. No promotion. Again, that's businessy. Business.
I'll try to handle that side of it.
Like, I'll go to a pub now and I'll push Brighton gin before
Yeah, right.
hey, I have a podcast. Because I think
Exactly. It's easier to do it for other people.
3 of the douchiest words in the English in the English language is I have a podcast. So I can't bring myself to talk about it with people. It's like a secret. It's like a secret.
That's funny. That's funny.
But I did see an article that 87% of the podcasts that were started in 2020 are now done.
I saw that too. I
Yeah,
saw that.
pandemic podcasters
Yeah.
have gone back to work now, and or have found jobs, or can be back on their set, or can
Yeah.
right back on.
Exactly.
So they're done, and now up to us, like our little independent.
We're still here.
Still here. Little independent idiots are still doing it.
Yes.
But the fact is that, and I put a call out on Facebook. I think I mentioned it on Instagram too, that, again, the mission is to shine a spotlight on these LGBTQIA plus projects, because so many different realms that these things can be, like, books, movies, TV shows, web series, anything, other podcasts. I mean, we're going to have the 80s TV ladies on there, another podcast. There's enough pie. There's enough podcast pie out there,
right,
to be able to promote someone else's show, like it.
Exactly.
I feel like podcasters are so protective, of their thing, that they don't want to give kudos to another podcast show. But I mean, if you've got a solid fan base, then share what you have,
Right. I agree.
And what you're learning. So yeah, I'm all about getting people on there to talk about their passions, their projects, their interests, like, seriously, I don't care if somebody tells me, like, hi, I'm queer and I pass the time by knitting. Come on the show. Let's talk about your cross stitch a little bit.
Exactly.
We'll do it. We'll do it. Yeah.
That's the
So,
point.
that's what
Yes.
we're here for, man. So we celebrate the queers. That's what this is all about. So
Totally,
yeah,
totally.
I'm gonna go celebrate my wife now because she's finally home.
Oh,
And,
I love that.
did you do anything nice for Valentine's Day?
Just dinner and home and dinner and a movie in because everyone goes out that night.
I
So
know.
it's so hard to get a res and then you're waiting online. It's not like going out to dinner you never do, right? So we
Right.
had a movie and a nice dinner at home and we were going to take a walk on the beach, but we just never got there.
We fell
Too
asleep.
far away, right?
We're
How about
lesbians.
you guys?
We fell asleep.
You
Yeah,
had
we did the
Valentine's
same.
Day,
I
right?
think we did the
In
same thing.
evening?
Did we watch a
Yeah.
queer? What did we watch? When was it? Tuesday, right?
It was Tuesday, yeah.
Oh, I know. Okay, so we don't do like big dumb things, like flowers.
I
and
know that about
shit
you
like that, right?
guys. Love
So I
that.
had bought this little thing that was a pocket heart, and it's
Aw,
like this big, and it's a little heart made out of wood, and it says like
Aw.
pocket full of love. And Gemma had to go into London, had to go into the office. So I gave it to her the night before, and I said, because you got to work, in the office on Valentine's Day, we won't really get to see each other. So I'm gonna give you this to put in your pocket, and then you'll know that I'll be thinking about you all Valentine's.
How sweet. I love that.
But I did
I
make
love
dinner,
that.
and I think I don't know what we watched, but yeah, probably Junior Bake Off right now. We're very much into the Junior Bake Off. The kids baking stuff like on the Great British Bake Off. These are like little kids, so they're in the
We
front.
actually
We're-
watched Jazz that night, actually, because
Oh, yeah.
that was on. So after the movie, yeah, I got Danny like really nice white roses, which I thought were different with a few red ones. And she got me a silver bracelet, a very nice, easily claspy, nice
Wow,
silver
you
bracelet.
like real gift.
I got her, and I got her. a little-
this.
I got her
Say that when you gave it to
heart
her.
necklace.
Aw.
But that had meaning. Yeah, the Gucci heart necklace has the little G and
Oh,
her
yeah.
last name starts with G. So,
Yeah, that's
but
perfect. That's
yeah,
cute.
she fits with all the designers. D and G, those are her initials. So
Yeah,
Dolce
right.
and Gabbana. But
Perfect. That's funny. Yeah, and I think tomorrow we're going out for lunch, taking out the new car for a ride.
oh wow.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna
love that you guys do stuff like that,
not
like-
often. It's not often, but when we do it, it's got meaning because we don't do it often. So yeah.
Is she enjoying the car? Is Gemma enjoying her car?
Well, we've only used it like twice since we got it because
Oh,
she walks to work normally, and if she has to go into the office, she takes the train and the tube. So
okay. Does she
So-
drive to the train?
no, it's only 50 steps
Oh.
away. The station is only like 50 steps away. Like
It's
if her
like
train, her train leaves at like 8:03, she leaves the house at like 2 minutes to 8.
oh
So-
wow,
Yeah,
wow.
it's
You
close.
live in a great spot. I have got to come visit. I've got my passport. I'm ready to do it. I have to just move a couple of things around on the schedule, and I'll let you know when I'm heading.
Yeah,
over the
and I
pond.
always tell people this when they say, "Oh my God, I can't wait to visit." Like, let's keep the expectations low. I don't go into London and I don't do the tour. I will do one thing. Otherwise it's local. Like I'll take you to a great cafe. We'll take you out to dinner at a good pub down the street. But as far as like going to see Buckingham Palace and Westminster Abbey and Harrods and Fortnum and Mason, no.
You know what? I'm not a big touristy person. What I want to do is I want to get a gig there and play somewhere, even if it's a little pub, and then see the city. But I don't necessarily have to see touristy things.
Yeah.
But I do want to see London and that big Ferris wheel looking thing. I want to
eye.
get.
Yeah, the eye. Well,
I have
the
been.
cool part is that like I love I do love going into town because when you're in there and you're just walking around like, oh my God, I can't still, there's days where it happens and I just can't believe this is London. But
Yeah,
the best way for me is to like have Hazel, who's not afraid to drive in London, whereas Gemma and I will not ever take the car past, like, I don't even know, Balham, so it's just not. And I don't think that you get, I mean, maybe you get the experience of being on a train and a tube, to get to these places. It's but I love when Hazel goes because she knows stuff that's like so random, like it's just like she'll be like, that's the park where they have the holiday, festivities or whatever, and you're just like, oh, I didn't even know that was a park. Yeah, I had no idea there was a park. So, but yeah, it's fun, and she'll whisk you by Buckingham Palace, and she's not really afraid to do that. And then like, I think the reason why people are driving less and less is because it's incredibly congested. There's no park anywhere. No, you never know whether you're going to find a spot or not. So you're
probably like New York City. New York City
like you are literally better off, I guess, taking a train in and taking taxi cabs everywhere you want to go, and then taking a train home, or taking a car service or whatever. Because I'm not big on public transport either. I don't fucking know what I'm doing.
I would be either. But on my favorite show, The Split, I wish they were making more of them, but this 3 seasons, that was it. Yeah. They travel that way. They walk, they take Ubers, they they take the train. And those trolleys, they take the trolleys. So
we have a couple of those
experience just walking around the city. I've always liked to just do that when I've traveled, when I was doing my army base tours and stuff. I usually do the city. I'd like to just walk around and see it myself. I hate the tours and stuff that you have other people.
It is kind of fun, like, though, if you really do want to hit the spots that the London Eye, the Eye, Westminster Abbey. Then do a hop on, hop off double-decker red bus tour. It's like
like that kind of thing.
Yeah. And that'll drop you right back off, I think, at Victoria Station, and you take the train back.
No.
The problem is that like everybody's on strike here. Like the trains are the rail workers are on strike. So, so like Gemma will like get in okay, and then all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of cancellations, and she'll be like, oh my God, I gotta take a taxi to or take a train somewhere else and take a taxi from there, whatever. But your journey is just so fucked, like, all the time now.
Wow.
And they'll do it for 3 days in a row. And not to mention the fact that teachers are on strike, teachers are supposed to be striking, and NHS nurses are striking.
Oh, wow.
It's brutal. It's brutal right now. And I obviously it's the economy. Like, people want to get paid more, get treated better.
Right.
The economy is in the crapper. So it's brutal with inflation and all that. So it's I get it, but it doesn't make getting around easy at all. So tomorrow we're taking the car and we're going to Box Hill, and I think we're going to Smith and Western. Yeah, that's it. I call it Best Western because I get it wrong. Someone calls it Smith and Wesson because she's a badass, but it's actually Smith and Western, and it's like a country place, like,
Wow. Well, you guys enjoy. That sounds so cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I'll look for the pictures. I will look for the photos.
Try and take a couple of good ones for you guys.
Okay.
Well, it's been good catching up. I'm glad.
Same.
Sorry that you had to rush in.
Oh, no problem. It got me home quicker than I probably would have, but it was great. I was so glad I got in on time. So
it was cool. All right, well, I'll let you go. I know you have editing to do now.
Yes.
Okay. See you next time. Bye.
Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch.
It's like never stop chasing your dreams.
And I confess,
See?
my addiction is you.
We drank way too
Don't
much
ask me
whiskey.
why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive to find you. And as I come in through the door, I you. You look at me and in my eyes you see the hurt I can't disguise. I watch you, and though it seems I look right through, I'm noticing your every move. She's got you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You're my addiction. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. I turn away to mask the pain, but jealousy reveals my